Hello everyone. Tonight's today tell is about a detective story that I created to view the eyes of detective and the story that unfolds. And we'll begin with many episodes of each detective story. Same characters, different adversaries. So I'll read as much as I can for the first one, and let me know what you think when I finish. So here goes. As court proceedings are held in place, all the jury members gather at the final part to vote on the case among the deaf old man Madison, which took nearly 4 months proceeding until the final verdict is confirmed. Jury number 1 decided to do a vote count on the trial decisions. Okay, by the show of hands, how many people think the defendant is guilty? Before anyone could respond, juror number 3 raised his voice. I think it's fair to write out the verdict on a piece of paper. Therefore, the voting proceeding can be a little more private. Sounds like a good idea, replied jury number 1. With all the jury members each received a pen, pencil, and paper, they began to write down their decision, tallying up the votes, and giving their view of being innocent or guilty. As all the papers were stacked out, the juror made the decision to count. Okay, now that the voting process is done, let's look at the results. Juror 1 then grabs the paper and starts to unfold one by one. As he began the count, everyone was in favor of being guilty. Instead, there was only 2 that voted him innocent. So now we have 10 votes guilty and 2 votes innocent. I don't want to be rude or anything to prolong this case with a bunch of assumptions or anything, but I do not see this young man innocent whatsoever. The case file had all the proof needed by the prosecutor, so it is clear and this man intent wanted to murder the victim. The motives were simple: to inherit the fortunes of Mr. Madison. His son clearly wanted all of his final resources. In doing so, the old man needs to die. The knife was evident by the bloodstains. The cloth in the sheet covers were a sign of struggle, and the poison in the food was presentable. Not to mention, bank account money transfer was available on the son's account. That to me is the final straw, piece of evidence to make or break the court's decisions. If anybody disagree with me and give me a reason to be persuaded, I'm open up to available suggestions. Not a moment too soon, jury number 3 decided to chip in on the conversation. I was the one who voted him innocent. Just a hunch of mine that the look in the boy's eyes tells me that he didn't do it. I may be old, but my eyes don't deceive me. His intentions were not malicious in killing his own parent. Jury number 5, feeling irritated, began to voice his opinion to the old man's foolishness. Look, it doesn't matter what you think unless there's solid evidence to prove his innocence. We can talk about speculation all day on judgment alone, but that's not how the justice system works. Trial by jury is determined by the plain motive of intent by case of what's presentable on court. With evidence not lie detectors. The old man didn't feel any sign of defeat. He made up his mind. Guess you're right. Even though I still believe the boy was innocent, I have no reason to have any solid proof. Jerry 1 did notice the old man's mood has changed, decided to put down his glasses on the table. So I assume the vote has changed to guilty. Yes, guilty as charged, replied jury number 3. Alright then, that proves that all the votes are in favor of guilty. It's set. Let's notify the councilman, said jury 1. Wait a minute, I remember quite clearly that 2 persons voted innocent, not just 1, replied jury number 7. Who are you again? Said jury number 1. Well, people call me by the name The Law, The Trap. Nice to be your acquaintance, everyone. Look, enough introduction. We're only here to know one thing only, that making the final decision, remarked jury 5. What's your reason? Asked jury number 5. It better be reasonable, not some whim based on judgment alone. Time is seriously wasting at hand here. As Lala paused for a moment, he stands up to walk around the courtroom, facing all the jurors. Seems like all of you people are in just a rush. Probably want to speed things up, to get on with their own personal life, and not worry about the defendant being put to jail for the rest of his life. Ah yes, just another day at the office, putting a young innocent man behind bars. What does that mean? Are you a lawyer, all of a sudden? Answered jury 11. No, I'm not here for a lecture, said Trap. I just want all your attention, so hear me out. Go on, we're listening, said jury 3. Alright, then let's first start out with the evidence that are involved in the case here. The knife with blood, explained by the prosecutor, had a sign of struggle. If there was a sign of malicious intent, wouldn't it be kind of foolish that a father and son would be fighting for their very own lives? Not to mention, they are blood related. Wait, what does that have to do with anything? Remarked jury number 5. For all we know, the father could have a bad relationship with his son, so they're bound to be in a scuffle. Yes, that could be, questioned Trap. If the torn relationship was a rift, why would the father even consider his son to take care of him in the first place? Simple, replied jury number 5. The boy willing to volunteer to take care of him, probably without his consent. It still doesn't add up, answered Trap. Without consent, he must be seriously ill, to the point of not moving at all. How can there be any signs of struggle during his coma state consciousness? Sometimes unexpected things do occur when faced with life and death situation, said juror 5. He will do extraordinary things when death situations are involved. The same process can be explained by a cripple on a wheelchair, sees a car coming, gets anxious and scared, stands up, and runs away avoiding danger. It happens, a reflective system called fight or flight fleet. Yes, that seems logical, answered Trap. If there were signs of struggle among blood on the cloth, which the boy's fingerprints were all over the cover sheet, discussed juror 1. Right, the boy's fingerprints and the poisoning and the meal while entering his body. After all, cyanide does kill a victim in a matter of seconds. I got a rebuttal. On assumption, resumed jury number 2, he force-feed the food to his dad after the struggle bloodbath. Try to make it look inconceivable that he didn't murder his father, which everyone would dupe into believing. Another exclamatory point. He then proceeds to grab out the knife from the evidence back on and puts it on the table. As you can see here, the knife that laid down is Exhibit A. Remember when the defendant lawyer mentioned the boy ellipse from time to time. Yes, I recalled that analogy, but intrigued Juror 1. But the boy can use that motive as a special case to avoid murder. Trap then proceeds to grab out a bottle of pills from the tables. I believe the boy went too shocked by the trap, making a perfect alibi for someone to take advantage of the situation. There was one witness who seen the crime while she saw the boy killing his father. The question is, how did she know by just seeing the boy instead of notifying the police right away herself? Look, you're just assuming things on water, replied Jury 5. The housemaid probably was shocked, mortified by the situation, wished she couldn't move at all. It's just like as soon as Jury 5 was about to finish the sentence, Trap stops him midway, kind of like experiencing epilepsy. See here, folks. As you can see, the boy was shaking with fear. No doubt, the accomplice couldn't oblige it by herself. Someone has to be involved on the case. That someone who has access to all the final resources and transaction. His partner is in the corporate business, could have authority to switch banks into his boy accounts to make it look like he's guilty. Wait, how is that even possible? Asked Juror 1. A boy is on trial, not his partner. Exactly, it's a trap. But it does beg to differ that the defendant lawyer read the testimony of the will to father's paper. And it, the boy's will is not on the paper. He may be a shady old man, so I could see a motive for the boy's hatred, but not enough to kill. Jury 3 then responds to the detective. Yes, how could the boy commit the murder if all the money assets was in the account? When the will money statement, he was not part of the deal. Jury 5 then cuts in the discussion. You people are so simple-minded. That is the perfect reason to kill his father. The disgruntled child probably found out that his expenditure and decided to act upon the crime out of defiance. Probably was associated with someone who worked inside the organization and hacked up a scheme to plot the murder to receive the asset. There's a flaw in your argument, said Trap. Just like you said minutes earlier, only was presentable in the court, not theories and assumptions. Jury 5 didn't find himself dumbfounded. Couldn't make up his mind. So what? His partner did it, so he should be the one on trial? No, that's not what I'm saying, remarked Trap. We're talking about the boy's innocent until proven guilty. By looking at the picture, boy ellipses the poison found by the maid, and above all else, the bank transfer can only be manipulated by someone who shares his personal financial account of transfer to get the boy convicted. Juror 1 didn't begin to question theories. Those are fine and dandy, which has a good case on point, but there's only one thing you haven't mentioned, and that's the bloody knife, and his markings all across the sheet. Explain that to me. Ah, the last piece of the puzzle, says the witty Trap. The crucial knife in the south attracts all the jury attention, put fear and doubt on the boy. The strange lunatic out for blood. Trap then pulls a bunch of file reporting under his briefcase and puts stacked piles of paper on the table set. Take a look at all the memos that was allocated on the company's interest. Money laundering, fraud bribes all around. Yet although all old man was a greedy old fool, his work effective or as honest as it could be. The detective then brings out the first document. Case study number 1, the bribery of the water plant. Revenue to be allocated was denied the right to free market. The money expense to pocket for both men, $5 million. Trap then grabs out a similar knife in the evidence bag and slams it on the table. This has surprised all the jury members' reaction to his demonstration. Not convinced enough for you? Trap then takes out a photo of the victim stabbing that was photographed at the scene of the crime. He then takes out another paper for file reporting. If bribery wasn't enough, how about fraud and manipulation by leeching off clients? No, it doesn't quite work for this old man. Trapped in proceeds to take the knife out again and slammed it on the phone and said, "Money laundering? Not a chance." Then he repeated the same process. "What about payment under the table?" Then he repeatedly did it over and over to the point where he turned to a maniac to frighten the jury members. While this began, he said something that caught people off guard. "You lying, sleazing, grey bastard. Why won't you just die?" Jerry 1 then grabs out his table chair and raises his hand. "Enough already. Your action is getting out of hand. Why all this nonsense act of sanity? This is inappropriate. So inappropriate to make you believe the boy is guilty," replied Trapp. Once Trapp was finished giving out his claim, he calmly sits back down. Jury 1 then looks at all the jury members, and then there's a question to them. "Alright, we count in favor of the boy innocent. Please raise their hand." All the jury members then raised their hand in sign of defeat for the claim provided. "I guess the boy's innocent." Jury 1 then gets up and knocks at the door for the councilman to come inside. "Has the verdict been made?" replied the councilman. "Yes, we all came with conclusion. We're ready to present to the court stand," said Jury 1. As all the jury members got up and continued to walk out of the conference room, Jury 3, who happens to be the old man, stopped Trapp for just a minute. "I find your intellect and insight to be quite intriguing. I don't want to sound nosy and all, but what is your profession?" Trapp, giving himself a light smile on his face, responded to the man with great delight. "Detective Private D. Trapp, at your service." The D is short for detective. Although I'm not officially known, let's just say I'm developing my own private eye investigation. And that's the first part you will see of the episode as I read along, and more will be available to you. Till then, signing off.